Welcome back. Today we will discuss another interesting module, the professional science teacher. National Policy of Education has said the status of a teacher reflects the socio-cultural ethos of a society. It is said that no people can rise above the level of its teachers. Science is one of the compulsory subjects in the secondary schools because of its multifarious values. We have to impart scientific knowledge to the people of the country in the background of our own culture. Swami Vivekananda wanted to combine Western progress with India in its spiritual background. He said, "Make a European society with India's religion." The task of spreading scientific knowledge and building up habits of thought and action in consonance with what Swami Vivekananda has said evolves upon the secondary science teacher more than anybody else. The quality of education depends mainly on the quality of teachers and not on materials, facilities alone. An efficient and resourceful science teacher can carry on his work quite effectively even with inadequate science facilities. Essential qualities of a science teacher. The following are the essential qualities of a science teacher: active, awareness, building interrelationship, a learning ability, punctuality, resourcefulness, skill of effective teaching, skill of communication, truthfulness, understanding the pupil. Now, we will see the special characteristics: clarification in basic concepts, compete in global market, critical and logical thinking, environmental awareness, experimentation, identification of talent among pupils, keen observation, knowledge enrichment, scientific attitude. Qualifications of a science teacher. Besides having essential and special characteristics, the teacher should also fulfill the following. The qualifications of science teachers to teach in various classes are revised by the government and educational departments in the central and state government from time to time, and presently the qualifications prescribed for teachers are: first one, academic qualifications. The basic academic qualification laid down by educational departments to teach secondary and higher secondary schools are BSc and MSc degree respectively. Professional qualification. The professional qualification which is made mandatory for the teachers of both secondary and higher secondary courses are Bachelor of Education course from a recognized university. Third, practical knowledge of child psychology. Every science teacher should be able to deal with students according to their needs, interests and aptitudes. Besides these, a science teacher should be of a scientific temper, rational in her approach to problems, free of bias and superstitions, innovative, inquisitive about the world around her, and the teacher should cater to the individual differences in class. So, science teachers need some essential characteristics in her classroom dealings like subject knowledge competency, knowledge about different learning strategies, knowledge of implicit theories, capability to integrate content and method, competent in evaluation techniques, use of information communication technologies, clarity in new concepts, classification of important information, knowledge about CCE in science, ability to understand the students. Different roles of the teacher. The National Policy on Education NPE 1986 states, the status of a teacher reflects the socio-cultural ethos of a society. It is said that no people can rise above the level of its teachers. The statement makes clear the dignity which teachers command from the society, the status which teachers enjoy, and the dignity of the profession is influenced to a great extent by the numerous roles the teachers play are given in various settings. First, as an input, next, manager, third, facilitator, fourth, counselor, next, community leader, and the last, as a systematist. So, first one, teacher as an input. The teacher's role as an input is a traditional one. In this role, the teacher can be compared as an instructional input. It refers to the knowledge, skills, attitudes and values which students are required to acquire in accordance with our national goals. In order to play this role more effective, the teacher has to update his own knowledge, read widely, adopt appropriate and innovative teaching methods and practice, come down to the level of students, emphasis on learning rather than teaching, use a variety of teaching aids and improve teaching aids with greater skill and efficiency, provide equal opportunity to students for a meaningful learning irrespective of their caste, religion, community background, sex and disability, encourage students to review, rehearse and practice, conduct continuous and comprehensive evaluation, make diagnosis of students' learning difficulties, and the last, provide remedial instruction to students. Next, teacher as a manager. The teacher has not only to teach a particular topic in a class, but also has to play the role of a manager. As a manager, he has to ensure that the work assigned to him is done with a satisfaction to him and to benefit to students and the organization. As a manager, teacher has to plan his work carefully, set his objectives, short-term objectives and long-term objectives clearly, organize students and physical resources systematically, execute his plans properly, control and monitor the progress regularly, evaluate the performance of the group continuously, modify his plans as and when necessary, follow the principles of democracy in a classroom management, create conducive learning environment, be a leader of the group under his charge, and be approachable and understanding in nature. Teacher as a facilitator. The teacher not only a leader of the group, but he also a facilitator of learning. As a facilitator of learning, he must be warm, understanding and self-controlling, listen attentively and accept students' feelings and ideas, observe students' reactions skillfully, ask questions to students, praise and encourage when necessary, be responsible, systematic, flexible and work-oriented, explain things clearly and reward fairly, be stimulating and imaginative in his approach to classroom behavior, encourage classroom discussion, panel discussion, peer tutoring and cooperative learning, lecture, demonstrate and explain things with examples, encourage independent study habits, maintain balance of direction and freedom for students. Teacher as a counselor. An important role of teacher is that of a counselor. As a counselor, he is not expected to solve problems for students, rather he creates situations whereby students will be able to develop insights into their problems and take their own decision to solve their own problems. As a counselor, the teacher has to help students to choose subjects in accordance to their needs, interest and abilities, help students to choose streams in medical, non-medical, engineering, humanities and commerce in higher education in accordance with their aptitudes and aspirations, assist students to take advantage of scholarships and financial assistance, advise students on the procedure of admission in the institutions of higher education, help students in developing proper study habits, help students to choose appropriate books and reference materials, assist students to know about institutions which provide vocational and technical training, mode of selection of admission to the course, fee structure, duration of training and placement opportunities, assist students to solve their personal problems, help students to solve their health problems, guide students to make proper use of leisure time, assist students in their personality. Teacher as a community leader. The most fascinating role which the present day situation demands is that teacher as a community leader. In fact, this role was also expected of a teacher in the past, but today, in view of the rising social, economic and educational problems, the thirst is more on a teacher as a community leader than on any other role as a teacher. As a community leader, the teacher has to create awareness among community members about welfare schemes, participate in the developmental programs initiated by the government and local bodies, organize advocacy programs relating to these schemes, educational reforms and innovations, mobilize the community for participation in all such activities for the attainment of the goals set in the stipulated period, advise and guide the community for communal harmony, emotional and national integration, participate and lead the community in literary campaign, SSA, population education, environmental awareness, immunization, tree plantation, crisis and disaster management, attend community meetings, festivals and functions which offer opportunity to the teacher for establishing contact with community leaders, include public and school programs, interpret in country's plan and educational policies, be familiar with all changes of community, conscientious with the development in educational policies and program. Teacher as a systematist. A modern teacher depends on various other instructional inputs for making the instructional process effective. As a systematist, teacher has to select the most essential appropriate instructional input from the available alternatives, evolve a new instructional system, decision making with regards to the inputs to be used for particular instructional context, sequence and integrate the instructional system. Teacher's role can be compared to a conductor of an orchestra, performs a similar role as an instructor, has to go to the scientific process which it evolved its steps, make several decisions with regard to selection, integrate instructional inputs, equip outside the system boundaries, create and improve the system rather than a participant or subsystem within the instructional system. Professional development. When a science teacher begins his career, the knowledge and skills acquired by her in college serve only as basic necessities or minimal requirements to launch her work. The first few years of teaching will lead the new teacher to identify, re-examine and evaluate her goals of science teaching, her methods, the nature of the content and her own personal aspirations. The science teacher, like any other professional, does not commence her career with a complete understanding of methodology of teaching science to students. It is necessary that she continues to learn not only from the day-to-day teaching experience, but also from the many opportunities that are available. In order to remain in touch with the latest developments in the field of science and science education in the world around, the teacher can take the following measures. First, attend seminars, workshops, conferences, pursue higher qualifications like MSc, M.Ed, PhD, etc. Exchange teaching position either in the same school or through exchange programs. Visit other schools to study different methods of teaching, the facilities, etc. Write articles and participate in science seminars. participate in science club activities and science exhibitions and science association programs, participate in refresher courses to get acquainted with the latest developments in the field. Need for in-service training. First, provides opportunities for updating the knowledge of development in science and technology, helps to acquire improved understanding of pedagogical techniques. Third, gives an opportunity to practice new teaching techniques and to share experiences with other teachers, gives teachers an exposure to new techniques and developments in educational technology, suggest remedies for inadequacies of existing teacher training programs. In-service training provides teachers with the opportunity to learn specific skills, techniques and new instructional approaches that they can use in their own teaching. Types of in-service teacher training program. First, Summer Institute for Science Teachers. Summer institutes in India can be classified into the following categories. First, unitary institutes. In these institutes, courses are conducted once a year in science to update teachers on the developments in different areas of science as well as in the newer approaches to teaching science. Second, sequential institutes. These institutes are organized on an all India basis. The purpose of the sequential institute is to prepare a team of pioneer resource persons for state level summer institutes. The best 5 participants in the unitary institutes are trained in imparting instruction both in content and in methods by an intensive program. Special institutes. These institutes stress on the improvement of textual material in science and on the development of improved techniques of teaching and educational technology. Project technology institutes. These institutes are organized on regional basis which provide intensive training in laboratory work and workshop skills. Teachers are encouraged to develop improvised aids and audiovisual materials which could be used by them in teaching when they go back to their respective schools. Seminar. Collective thinking on various problems of education by experts, educationists and teachers is called an educational seminar. Seminars provide friendly and informal atmosphere to discuss and exchange views. Seminars can be organized to any problem of education. Third, workshop. The approach in a workshop is more practical than that of a seminar because in a workshop all the participants work actively and make significant contributions. A workshop can be conducted to think over practical oriented problems of education such as curriculum construction, development of instructional materials, etc. In a workshop, ample time is given for every individual to work as well as to study. Every participants make intensive study of the problems which arise out of their experiences and gives practical suggestions on it and develops something concrete. Refresher course. Refresher course is conducted to enable the teachers to keep pace with the latest developments in their subject as well as in theory and practice of education. Refresher course is an important source of reorientation of teachers. The services of experts are obtained for this purpose. Professional and academic efficiency of the teachers who attend such refresher courses get enhanced. Conference. Conference of teachers, experts, educators and educationists can be organized for broad discussion of educational subjects like revision of school curriculum, selection of textbook, adoption of new methods of teaching and evaluation, guidance of gifted children, problems of handicapped children, etc. Debate. A debate is a type of discussion in which a topic is taken and the group members are divided into small groups. One group is speaking in favor of the topic and other group against the same. Debate is primarily study groups. Teachers of different schools can form study groups. They meet periodically and discuss problems concerning their subject areas and work out new teaching techniques. Other schemes. School programs such as faculty meeting, extension lectures, etc. can be conducted to serve the purpose of in-service education. Educational publications of the NCERT, SCERT can be used as media for in-service education of the teachers. Various agencies for the in-service education of the teachers. First, the various departments of NCERT organize summer school course in various school subjects, conduct research surveys and publish literature to teachers. Second, Regional Institute of Education RIE. Third, State Institute of Education SIE. Fourth, institutions of science educations like IISc, IIST, etc. Fifth, NUPA. Sixth, UGC. Seventh, academic staff colleges. Role of NCERT and SCERT. NCERT and SCERT are the national and state bodies responsible for the design and developments of the various aspects of education in the country. They conduct various programs in the state level and national level to equip teachers with the latest developments in the teaching learning pedagogy, methods of teaching and techniques in ICT to equip teachers with the developments in educational technology. The programs conducted by the NCERT and SCERT include seminars, workshops, refresher courses, orientation programs, conferences, study groups, school programs, workshop on professional writing, educational tours, etc. Both these agencies play important role in designing curriculum, preparing the workbook for teachers and many aspects of education. In view of the greater demands of quality teachers across the country, NCERT has started new dimensions for teacher education programs. Newly visualized teacher education program emphasizes learning as a self-learning participatory process taking place in social context of learner as well as wider social context of the community to nation as a whole, puts full faith in self-learning capacity of the school children and student teacher and evolving proper educative program for education, views the learner as an active participative person in learning. His or her capabilities or potentials are seen not as a fixed but capable of development through experiences, views the teacher as a facilitator, supporting, encouraging learners' learning, does not treat knowledge as fixed, static or confined in books, but as something being constructed through various types of experiences. It is created through discussion, evaluate, explain, compare and contrast, that is through interaction. Emphasizes that appraisal in such an educative process will be continuous, will be self-appraisal, will be peer appraisal, will be done by teacher educators and formal type 2. Hence, there would be a major shift from teacher-centric stable designs to learner-centric flexible process, then from teacher direction and decision to learner autonomy, from teacher guidance and monitoring to facilitates, support and encourages learning, from passive reception in learning to active participation in learning, from learning within the four walls of the classroom to learning in the wider social context of the classroom, from knowledge as given and fixed disciplinary focus to knowledge as it evolves and created multidisciplinary educational focus, from linear exposure to multiple and divergent exposure, from appraisal short, few to multifarious and continuous. Changing role of the teacher. The current system of schooling poses tremendous burden on children. educationists are of the view that the burden arises from treating knowledge as given by an external reality existing outside the learner and embedded in textbooks. Knowledge is essentially a human construct, a continuously evolving process of reflective learning. The NCF 2005 requires a teacher to be a facilitator of children's learning in a manner that child is helped to construct his or her knowledge. Education is not a mechanical activity of information transmission, and teachers are not information dispensers. Teachers have to increasingly play the role of crucial mediating agents through whom curriculum is transacted. Research and innovation. There is a need to increase research that documents practices reflectively and analytically, whether it is of programs or of individual classrooms, so that it can be included in the body of knowledge available for study to student teachers. University departments and research institutions need to undertake such research. In addition, there is a need to innovate with the different models of teacher education. Institutional capacity and capacity to innovate and create are a prerequisite for the pursuit of excellence. Hence, in the present scenario, a lot of impetus has been given to research. Many teacher educators are encouraged to take up either major or minor research projects. Perspectives for equitable and sustainable development. In order to develop future citizens who promote equitable and sustainable development for all sections of society and respect for all, it is necessary that they be educated through perspectives of gender equality, perspectives that develop values for peace, respect the rights of all, and that respect and value work. In the present ecological crisis promoted by extremely commercialized and competitive lifestyles, children need to be educated to change their consumption patterns and the way they look at natural resources. There is also an increasing violence and polarization both within children and between them, that is being caused by increasing stress in society. Education has a crucial role to play in promoting values of peace based on equal respect of self and others. The NCF 2005 and the subsequent development of syllabi and materials is attempting to do this as well. Role of community knowledge in education. It is important for the development of concepts in children as well as the application of school knowledge in real life, that the formal knowledge is linked with the community knowledge. The NCF 2005 promotes the inclusion of locally relevant content in the curriculum as well as pedagogy. ICT in schools and e-learning. With the onset and proliferation of information and communication technology (ICT), there is a growing demand that it be included in school education. Teacher education has been structured to orient and sensitize the teacher to distinguish between developmentally appropriate and detrimental uses of ICT. It also needs to equip teachers with competence to use ICT for their own professional development. The teacher competencies be developed as suggested by NCTE 1998. Contextual content, teaching learning material, conceptual educational activities, management evaluation, working with parents, working with community. A competent and confident teacher needs to build personal and professional skills while competing with others at national and international level if he or she develop. Emphasis on thoughts and broad attitudes towards students and field of knowledge. Focuses on group discussion, particular lecture associative discussion. Excel and enhances quality if analyzes, sort, intercollegial audits, information system, quality handbooks. Now let us summarize this session. A poor teacher tells, an average teacher explains, a good teacher demonstrates, and a great teacher inspires is a famous saying which illustrates the quality of teachers. We are, however, convinced that the most important factor in the contemplated educational reconstruction is the teacher and his personal qualities, his educational qualifications, his professional training, and the place that he occupies in school as well as in the community. In this module, we explain the qualifications, qualities, professional enhancements, the change in role of teachers in the present educational settings, and what does the society expect from the present day teachers in quality and competency. Before we move to the next session, please try to answer the following questions. First, what was the view of Rabindranath Tagore regarding the professional growth of teachers? What is the major shift in NCERT teacher education program to accommodate the present day needs? What are the different types of summer institutes working in India conducting in-service programs? What are the qualities of a good science teacher? What is the role of teacher as a manager? List out the soft skill competencies required for a new generation teacher and prepare a chart showing it. Books for your reference are Making Sense of Teaching by Brown, Sally and Donald McIntyre, published by Open University Press, Buckingham and Philadelphia. Network Science, a decade later. It's an article published in a magazine, The Internet and Classroom Teaching, by Alan Feldman and Conrad Cliff and Bob Kotler. This is published by Lawrence Elbram Associate Publishers, London. Policies for Science Education by Fitzpatrick, published by Bureau of Publications, Teachers College, Columbia University Press. Modern Trends in Science Education by T.T. Joseph, published from Kottayam. Hope you have enjoyed this session. See you next time. Until then, goodbye.